Hi, I'm Angie with National Indoor RV Centers, and today I'm so excited because I'm here at the Grech RV Factory. Now, this isn't Grech's first rodeo at building custom luxury vehicles. So today I want to first introduce Ed Grech here. Ed, come join me.
How you doing, Angie?
So Ed is the CEO, founder, president of Grech RV.
Yes.
And tell me a little bit about the history, because I know that you've been in this high-end auto space for quite a while.
Well, I've been in manufacturing since 1983, and I started off building limousines, and over the years we turned into the largest limousine manufacturer in the world. And during that time we also built buses and funeral home products, funeral cars. And right about 2009, we decided to shift gears to 100% bus production. And here we are. We wound up in the RV space, and we love it.
Okay, so let me just say, he keeps saying bus production. These are high-end luxury shuttle buses, right?
Well, after all, they got my name on the side of them, so they got to be nothing but the best.
That's right. And so anything that his name is on, I promise you, it stands for quality, craftsmanship, and luxury. So you're definitely going to see that today as we go through the factory. I can't wait. Let's go take a look.
So I'm here with David Reagan. He is Director of Research and Development for Grech RV. And David, you've got a great history with this company. I know that you started when you were 18 as a welder.
Correct. So I started working for Mr. Grech when I was 18 years old in the welding shop. And I've been with Mr. Grech over 35 years now and have an extensive history with the company for working in the welding shop, electrical shop, R&D, product development, and have a lot of experience with this company.
So not only have you built the B vans, but you started with, you told me that you cut the first, what was that, Lincoln Town Car in half?
I started when I was 18, and I started, like I said, a welding shop, and I was cutting brand new Lincoln Town cars in half and make them into limousines, and we built the first 110-inch stretch for the company when I was doing that as well. I really loved it and just progressed through the company throughout the years and different product development between shuttle buses and into the RV market, and then back into the RV market again as we are now, and just a lot of experience on different products through the years.
Starting with the stretch limousines, hearse, luxury shuttle buses, not just any old shuttle bus.
Right. Shuttle buses, limo interiors on buses, limo interiors on Sprinter vans, and shuttle on Sprinters back in the day, and just a lot of experience on a wide variety of different products through the years.
Right. So wide variety, but very high quality. And that's what we're going to show you today as we go through this factory tour. So David, we always hear about building quality in rather than inspecting it in. Right. Grech RV is really the embodiment of building quality in, and just walking through the factory, that's what I want you to point out to us today, is how you build that quality in at each step.
Okay, so you got to realize that Grech Motors or Grech RV, both companies are integrated into one, okay? And we actually come from the automotive industry side, so we're not coming from the RV side. We are coming into the RV side with our automotive history behind us as far as that goes. So we start from the beginning, from just the ground floor up, building quality into our products and QC in each station through the production facility all the way through.
All right, so let's get started. Show me, we start with our raw chassis here from Mercedes.
Right, so we're building on the Mercedes, and that's all we're building our RVs on. We're not doing any other type of manufacturers at this point. So we're starting with our Mercedes chassis. We'll start stripping out the components that we don't need and start marking out where we need to be putting hole penetrations in. So these are our storage bins, and when we take those chassis into the welding shop in the first stages of production, we remove the front seats, we remove all the interior components, and we house them in these bins, and these bins are marked for each individual unit. So with a VIN number and the number that we recognize as far as our production number. So we're assured that those particular components are going back into that specific vehicle they came out of. That way there's no question if this van or this vehicle, whatever we're building, goes back to the dealer and they have specific serial numbers on parts,
it
that
all
all matches up. Exactly right.
So David, when the raw chassis came in, you all remove the front captain and co-captain seat, correct?
Right, so we remove those seats over in the welding shop and we bring them into this area and we recover those with our covers and put the headrests recover on there with a Grech logo inside. Nice little touch there. And also all these covers have airbag stitching all in them already, so they're all been tested for airbags. So we do recover these front seats. They do have airbags in them, but they are a certified cover for that airbag as well.
And then they also match the rest of the interior package.
Right. We recover these front seats so they match the rear interior coloring coordination.
And looks really nice. It adds to that customization, that little extra
little touch that we want to put out there, and luxury is what we're about.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I was impressed with when I saw your vans the first time is that you have less hole penetrations than any other van that I've seen.
Yeah, exactly. So we got a patented compartment on the side of the vehicle that houses all of our shore power inlet and things like that.
One of my favorite features.
Yeah, and also we want to make sure that aesthetically on the outside of the van, we're not having all those hole penetrations. We're not having those plastic components and stuff on the side for your hose reel and access, and your shore power plug access, and or even your water heater box on the side. We don't have any of that kind of componentry on our units.
And not only does that look really aesthetically pleasing, but also less opportunity for any kind of water intrusion or anything like that, correct?
Right, exactly. So the less penetrations we can put into this vehicle just makes it more robust for anything in the future. Water, any components being bad, anything that's going to be degrading over the time period of the life of the vehicle.
So I saw your workers up on the roof with this. I'm assuming it's some sort of pattern?
Right. So what we're doing on all of our models, we actually have cutout patterns for all of our models. So we make sure that all the hole cutouts are identical on every single model. So we have ones for the roof, and we have ones actually for the interior for all the hole penetrations for the drain tubes and everything that are going through the floors on every single model. They are done identical with these patterns.
So basically just take out any chance of error, keep it super simple.
Right, exactly.
So I noticed you've got these metal boxes where you've already made a cutout here, or you're getting ready to do the cutout.
Right, so this is one of those small little details that really make a difference, okay? So what we're doing here is we're putting these metal boxes up here to help the debris when they do cut the hole out on the roof, that we're not getting those metal shavings down inside the interior of the vehicle. So it keeps the vehicle cleaner as it's going down through the production facility.
Absolutely, makes a big difference, I'm
Absolutely.
sure. So here at this next section, I see that you've done some cutouts, and I see that we've got some steel reinforcement around those cutouts.
Right, so you got to realize we're not just cutting holes in our vehicles. When we cut a hole in the vehicle, we reinforce the hole where we cut with steel structure, and anything that we're manufacturing on the exterior of our vehicle is made out of stainless steel.
And that's going to be very impressive when we get to show you that part. I can't wait for that.
We actually have steel running the length of the vehicle on both sides for our cabinetry attached, and also the steel structure around the hole openings, and also steel structure on the sidewall. We are also putting seatbelt reinforcements in on every seating position that we have seatbelts in, have steel reinforcements for the seatbelt positions, and they are seatbelt pull tested for FMVSS compliance.
You've been doing this for a while, right?
We have been doing this for quite a while, yes. So on our lounge models, when we are installing the captain's chairs in the back, we have a specific mount plate system that we designed and had tested for seatbelt pull testing once again on that captain's chair for our seat mount. So we're not only just bolting the seat in, there's a substructure to hold that seat assembly into the van, okay? Also, if you notice up this plate, that plate is there for our table mount base, so we're not just
mounting. So it's not going to be moving around.
That is a very solid mount base plate in there. It's riveted into the vehicle as a structural part of the vehicle for that table mount there, so nothing's going to be moving around.
Impressive. So one of the cool things about Grech, I'm not aware of other vans doing this, you get the air suspension on your B vans that have the dual wheels, correct?
Yeah. So anything that has a dual rear wheel has air suspension standard from Grech. This is the station where the air suspension is going to get installed. This is the station where we take the body prep paint moldings on the side, we take those off, as well as the front bumper. The front bumper gets removed, that lower valance gets installed on the front bumper in body shop, painted, and then reinstalled back on the van.
So this never sees a paint booth.
Right, the actual van will never see a paint booth, just the body component sees the paint booth.
So I see that you've started adding the wiring and insulation.
Right, so all of our wiring on all of our models, from our RVs all the way down to where our buses are all color-coded wiring harnesses. So we use the same color code for certain items, say for example like reading lights, interior lights, speaker wiring, that kind of thing. So all of our models are all color-coded, so it makes it really nice and convenient for customers, service places, yes, service technicians, exactly.
We like that.
Wiring diagrams, you know, they're all pretty much color-coded, like I said.
Well, I think that's cool too, because you mentioned that you allow your customers to have those wiring diagrams as well, correct?
They are. So all of our wiring diagrams and all of our models are accessible through our grechrv.com website, and go to your specific model, click on that. In your owner's manual, it has wiring diagrams in there. So
if you're a do-it-yourself guy, you can actually see how you got this whole kind of coach wire-wise.
Exactly,
anyway.
yeah, they're all on there. And also, I want to point out that if you notice how we attach all of our wiring harnesses into our vehicles, they are attached securely, and they also have auto loom protection around the harnesses and protection on specific edges. We don't want wire chafing down the road after years, so we put protection on metal edges where the wiring harnesses may be capable of coming in contact of those edges. So we put protections on there.
They have thought of every little detail, I swear.
That's where the automotive side comes into play once again. So yeah.
So we mentioned that all your buses are made here as well, and this is the wiring pattern for each model of the buses, which
right. So like I said before, all of our wiring harnesses are color coded throughout every model we build, and it transitions from our RVs right into our buses as well. So we have these patterns laid out so they know what colors are for what, and all my harnesses are made by a company, and they're all color coded identically.
So when I see a reading light here, it's orange. Reading light's orange, reading light's orange.
Right, and that
And
transitions right into the reading light. That wire color is going to be orange in that as well.
So I see that we've got our drain system here. What's happening?
Okay, so we have various stations down through the production line, and in this particular station, we are pre-assembling the drains for various models. So all of my models have the drain system already pre-laid out, so they are pre-assembled on stations like this and then installed into the vehicle.
Nice. So it means it goes in very efficiently, always the same, less room for error.
Always the same, less room for error, more quality control, since I'm pre-assembling a lot of these components before they actually are assembled into the vehicle, so we can control how the vehicle is actually assembled and put together that way.
And then fits perfect every time.
Fit and finish is what we're about, exactly.
So one of the things that I think that probably adds to your quality is the fact that this middle section is all the same from one model to the next when they're on the same wheelbase.
Correct. So for example, this one we're standing by is a 170-inch wheelbase, and it has the same drain system on all my 170-inch wheelbases. Okay, so the 170-inch wheelbases are same tank sizes, same drain layouts,
Bathrooms in the same spot.
Bathrooms in the same spot, and it makes it easy for assembly and quality control.
Absolutely, so smart.
Yeah. As far as my 144 wheelbases, they're the same way. So everything on the 144-inch wheelbase, all the drain system, all the layouts on the underneath side of the vehicle are all identical.
So if you learn it once, you can do it again and again and again and again.
Exactly. So the only difference is if you have a generator or you don't have a generator. So generator units actually have propane on board, but it still does not affect the drain system, the tanks, or anything underneath there.
All right, so now we can get underneath this chassis here and we can see some of the things that you've been telling us about.
Right, so in this station, you'll notice that it has the painted lower bumper balance installed here, and you'll notice
and
that
it's like really installed. It doesn't
this
move.
is secured.
It's secured.
Yes, so it is secured to the body, and it also has stainless steel structural support brackets underneath that support the exterior side of it as well.
Yeah, so just to reiterate, everything that's attached here underneath is stainless steel.
Correct. So everything we're manufacturing for our bracketry on the exterior of this vehicle is manufactured out of stainless steel.
So you can see the seatbelt brackets right here.
Yeah, seatbelt reinforcement brackets underneath the chassis is stainless steel again. And then also you'll notice that the air suspension is installed in this vehicle now with the automatic ride height control sensor on the back. So
Oh, that's nice. Again, making it easy for me and giving me a nice ride at the same time.
Right. Also, you'll notice another stainless bracket that houses your 110 volt outlet and the outlet for your cable TV. Like I said, everything underneath that we're installing on this vehicle manufactured is stainless steel.
Stainless steel and so strong. Like
Strong
so
and
impressive.
it's
It's
not
not
gonna
going
be
to rattle,
rusting.
not going to rust.
Exactly. You have your timberline heater,
Exhaust.
fuel-fired heater here, the exhaust, and then the bracketry that we're making to hold this in here is all stainless, okay?
Okay.
And then
we've got the stainless steel bracket here. We saw that in the back.
those are the stainless brackets that we're manufacturing to support all of our lower fiberglass valances around the vehicle. So that is supported not only at the body line of the vehicle, it is supported at the very bottom edge of that fiberglass piece as well with that stainless bracket.
Now, while we're here, I've noticed that you've got your hot and cold low point drains, and they are insulated.
Right, low point
Insulated.
drains, and that's your hot and your cold side. And we're insulating those, and we're also insulating the water feed line from the fresh water tank
Right here.
up into the vehicle. So like I said before, there is no fresh water lines on the exterior of the vehicle that are not insulated. Everything else is mounted on the interior of the vehicle.
So not all season, but extended season for sure in this
Yes,
van.
absolutely. So that being said as well, we are putting heating blankets on the bottom of our fresh water tank, and our gray tank is mounted on the exterior of the vehicle. So that's being done as well for that.
Now here we've got another thing that you don't always see on the van too is you've got a macerator.
Right, so everything that is on a 170-inch wheelbase, so that's a Torino and the Strada, has a macerator on it.
Okay.
If you have a 144, which is a Turismo, that is not a macerator unit, that is a standard dump system on there.
Okay. And this has an auto reel on it as well.
That has an auto reel on it, so that is a manual pull-out, and it is a automatic retract. So you push a button, it's electric retract. You do have to guide the hose in a little bit, but it is an electric retract.
Nice feature that you have there. I also noticed that you've got the 3-inch piping here for your gray tank.
So we use a 3-inch dump line on the gray tank and on the black tank on the 170 models. So the 170 wheelbase models all have 3-inch dump pipes on them from the tank all the way to the valve, all the way out to the macerator.
And then you can see here we've got the heat blanket here that is thermostat controlled,
This
correct?
is thermostatically controlled. There's a thermostat actually right in here. You'll see 2 of them. There's 2 actually on this heat blanket. This is controlled through the Firefly system. When you turn your tank heater switch on, it'll initiate these heaters. If it's cold enough, they will come on. If it warms up, they will automatically turn themselves off. And if you notice the stainless steel bracketry holding the tanks in as well again.
Yeah. And another thing to note on your tanks, when I fill these tanks, these feel a lot stronger than the Rotocast tanks that I'm used to. So on your gray tank and on your
That is another
freshwater
thing.
tank.
So my gray tank, my black tank, and my freshwater tank are now all being 3D printed. So they are very strong, very robust, and we can control with that 3D printing the consistency of the thickness of the tank throughout the whole entire tank.
I'm not going to have to worry about any leaks.
No seams, no leaks, nothing on there. And like I said, they're controlled the thickness on the whole entire tank, which is really nice.
Now, I also note that you've got some insulation here on your exhaust for the engine.
Right, so that's the engine exhaust from Mercedes here in this section. We are protecting the piping system from radiated heat from the exhaust, and then we modify that exhaust from this section and exit it out the side of the vehicle in front of the rear tire. And then again, we put the heat protection here, so it's protecting the gray tank from any heat that may be coming from the exhaust, so we don't have any degradation or damage on our tanks at that point.
Very impressive and very cool. I can see up here we've got our power step.
Right, so this step is an aluminum platform step that is automatically extends when you open the door and automatically retracts when you close the door. There is an override for that in the interior, so you can disable that step when you're camping, so the step's not going in and out when you're opening and closing the door when you're camping. And then again, stainless hardware underneath. This thing is very, very strong. It doesn't move at all. I mean, it's structurally in there. It's not going to be weak when you're stepping on this step in the exterior of it or anything like that. This thing is built to stay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same with our side steps as well. So if you take a look at the side steps on our fiberglass, those are supported as well with stainless bracketry, so you won't be breaking.
So if there's someone with a little extra weight, they're not going to feel that when they step up?
Totally triangulated and supported in here, if you can tell, with all stainless steel bracketry as well.
All right, so you can see that we're adding some electrical components here. I see the inverter and the transfer switch fuses, it looks like. We've got the stainless steel to hold that's where our batteries are going to go.
This is our stainless steel bracket that we're manufacturing to hold our lithium batteries, and that will have a whole plate on top. We'll show you that later on in the video as well. So that houses the batteries there. The foam for the honeycomb that goes on top of that for the flooring is getting installed here. And also, you will notice that our wiring transitions go from the left side to the right side of the vehicle between the floor structure, as well as my water lines. You'll notice
water lines above
the flooring, and in between the flooring is where the water lines go through, and those are one-piece water lines from one component to the next. So I'm not putting any joints and any water lines that are not accessible.
So you don't have to worry about any leaks.
Yeah, no leaks in between any flooring construction.
Nice. And then we've got the insulation. I know that this is getting prepped to go to the water test bay.
Exactly. So what we're doing here is in these next subsequent stations, we're getting prepped for water check, and we'll show you that. But so the insulation is in on the walls, but it's not in on the ceiling yet, because that gets installed after water check. We want to make sure that we're not capturing any water from any headliner materials or insulation in there. If there potentially is a leak that we need to correct, we don't have to take anything apart. It's easy to see if there's any leaks coming in the stages where there's no interior.
And what I love about this, they do the water check test twice. So at this stage, right after we get through this stage, and then you're going to do it again once it's all complete.
We do multiple water checks, and also we have QC sign-offs, which I'll show you on the front of the vehicle. There's a traveler that actually goes with the vehicle. We'll show you that next. That every station has a QC sign-off. So we'll have a sign-off on water check, multiple stations throughout the production line, as well as pre-delivery water checks.
So if there's any kind of water intrusion during the test, what happens?
Then we stop, and that gets corrected, and then it gets retested again until it passes. It does not move to the next station. Also, I want to point out, when we install the components on the roof, that there is nut inserts installed on the roof, not just screws. For example, like when we install the solar panels on the roof there, we install the nut inserts and a bolt and sealed prior to water check.
Oh, nice. So it's going to be nice and secure up there and watertight.
Nice and secure, watertight, with a nut insert into the metal, sealed, no leaks.
So quality control as you go, right?
Exactly, quality control as we go. So what we have is we have a quality control traveler here that actually goes with each vehicle and has listings for every station that it goes to, and it has to have a sign-off for each applicable list that is on that vehicle for that station. So if it's not signed off on that station and passes quality control on that station, then it needs to be corrected before it moves to the next station. So as example here, we have all the sign-offs. So if there is an issue and there's something that happens later on in the line and there's something wrong with it, we can go back to that employee because they signed it off, and we can control that employee as far as any issues that go.
Another thing that I thought was cool that you just told me about was the fact that you've got new employees here. When they've been with you less than 30 days, they actually wear a green vest.
Yes, exactly. So that helps us control our quality on the vehicle and with new employees. So if they need help, they need training, or we see something wrong, then we know that that employee needs more instruction. We know who to go to direct.
Just watch them a little bit closer. I think that's a great idea.
Exactly.
So tell me about where we are right now.
Okay, so we're in our parts inventory control room. So this is where the heart of the company really is. We control all the inventory in this area. We pull all the parts that are necessary for each vehicle and each station out of this area. So without this parts room and this inventory control, you could not run production.
Well, I am super impressed. Not only is it clean, it's super orderly. I feel like I'm at a Target. I can go find aisle M and find exactly what I need.
We know where every part is on what rack and what rack location, and right for our parts inventory.
So you've kind of mistake-proofed your process here with the patterns for the cutouts for the roofs. You've got your kit here. Everything on here is going to go into one vehicle?
Right, exactly. So what we're doing in each station, we actually control where the vehicle's at on each station every single day, and the parts department gets a printout list of what that vehicle needs in that station for that day. So like, for example, this cart is set up for this vehicle on this station for this day. So they're going to take these components and install it on this vehicle today. So there's no mistake as far as, does this component go on this vehicle or not?
Absolutely. If it's on this, it's going
If it's on this cart, it's going in this vehicle. So if it's a different model, it'll have different product on this cart for that vehicle that day.
So next up, this shower is going in there?
Right. So all of our shower assemblies are pretty much the same size. The only difference is if it's a tour or if it's a lounge model, the shower will change a little bit in this section. But overall, same toilet, same sink, same shower, door size, and everything on every model. This is all fiberglass, and how the seam gets done, this is a multiple piece mold shower assembly, but when the seams go put together, they actually get fiberglass on the exterior side, and that makes it waterproof.
So now we have the floor installed, the bathroom's in.
Right, so in this station, the one-piece flooring's in, and
one piece of the honeycomb floor.
Piece of the honeycomb floor, and you have a piece there in
I
your
found
hand.
a little scrap, and I'm telling you, this is as light as styrofoam, but honestly, like, it doesn't even flex when and you think this small of a piece that I maybe would be able to get it to bend, it's not going to move.
Right, so this is like a structural part because of the design of the honeycomb. It's like a beehive. So beehives are very, very strong. I can't even bend or even start to bend this thing as it goes. It's very, very strong.
Yeah. Very impressive and waterproof.
Absolutely. You'll also notice that the bathroom housing is installed in this unit now, and we'll get this thing prepped and going into water check in the next few stations.
All right, let's move on. Wow, so this is looking a lot more like we have a lot more going on here. Batteries are installed.
Right, so we're starting to get more and more components on the interior installed here, but you'll still notice that there is no headliner in here and there's no insulation in here because this unit is getting prepped to go to the water check station. So we want to make sure that all the components that are a potential water leak are installed on this vehicle before it goes to water check. So windows are in, air conditioning modules on the roof, the solar panels are on the roof, the front vent fans on the roof, your antennas, everything that's mounted on the roof is on this vehicle prior to water check.
So here's the top of the floor, really nice, thick, and it's got a little felt backer here, but you're going to be amazed when I show you when this is installed, what we can do. It's basically waterproof. I mean, not
exactly
water resistant for sure.
This is a nylon type topper on this flooring material with a backing on it that gives you some cushion. This stuff, well, if you pour water on top of this, you spill something, any liquid on top of this thing, easy clean up, it's not going to soak in.
So with everything that's going on, we also have the floor installed, and I did want to show our audience here just a little bit that I can just pour water on there. It's just going to pool up, but it doesn't seep in at all, and I can just brush it right off.
Like I said before, this is a full nylon floor. It is waterproof, and you can just wipe it straight off, take a towel, dry it off, and nothing's going to be soaking into that flooring.
I love that.
Yeah, easy cleanup, no stains, things like that.
Yeah.
So it's
Moms,
very, very nice.
we like that.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I'd like to point out that there's more installed here now, not just the bathroom housing. We also have their timber line heater system that controls your on-demand hot water and your furnace for the interior of the vehicle. All these components are getting in prior to water check. You also notice that we have PEX plumbing in all of our units. So we have red for hot, blue for cold. So we use PEX plumbing throughout.
So what's so cool about your rain test site here is it's right in the middle of the factory. I totally did not expect that, and I've never seen that before.
Right, middle of the factory is really the only way that we can do it. You got to realize we're not installing the interior headliner, the interior fiberglass insulation or anything like that. We are looking for that little minuscule leak that is going to be a potential issue in the future if we can't see it, if that interior is in there. Later on, when the customer has an issue, then it could be a big problem.
It's a little bit too late, right?
We want to check it and make sure we catch it before that happens in the future.
So quality checking throughout the entire process, including the water test. So this is pretty impressive. This is the water test, and you're going to do this for 3 hours at least, correct?
Exactly. So what happens is every vehicle gets into this water check station after all the components that are installed for any potential water leaks. So it'll pull into the station, sits here for 3 hours. I actually have an employee inside the vehicle that is looking for water leaks. And remember, the interior headliner and the interior roof insulation is not installed in this vehicle. It gets installed after the station. So if there's any potential water leaks or any water leaks that we catch, it gets corrected here, and then the test restarts again. And once it passes test, gets signed off, moves to the next station.
And this is just the first water test.
This is the first water test, exactly. There's multiple that we do.
And I can see him in there. So he's just looking at all the possible places that maybe water would come through and just looking for a little drip.
Exactly. We don't want any water intrusion into this vehicle, so I have an employee in there, like I said, looking for water leaks.
So another piece of cool information that you shared with me is the fact that you recycle this water. We are in a desert, so water is a...
Right, water conservation, right? We don't want to be wasting, we want a
Right.
nice green earth and everything. So what we're doing here is we are actually recycling our water through our water check. And it has a catch basin here, has a sump pump, goes through a filter, has a holding tank, and then a high pressures that holding tank water back into the water check station again. So we're recycling water here. We're not just wasting it down the drain.
3 hours of a coach shower.
Right, exactly.
Or an RV shower
Yeah.
would take a lot of,
we don't
waste
wanna
a
be
lot of
wasting.
water. So that's very cool.
No water waste.
All right, so behind us here we have the headliner, correct?
Yeah, so on our headliner material as well as our wall material surfaces on the lower sections, anything that's straight is actually a fiberglass reinforced honeycomb material.
And it is so strong, like you can't bend this stuff.
This is very strong and waterproof, so this is not going to be soaking up any moisture, mildew, or anything like that in the future on your vehicle.
So talk about a little bit, you mentioned that your cabinets are wood, but other than that, there is no wood inside the coach.
Correct. So other than the cabinetry itself, all my flooring surfaces, all my interior wall surfaces, including all the wall surfaces around the window openings, are not wood.
Wow. And this has been CNC cut. So again, all the cuts are in the right places. It's just going to go right into its spot
CNC
perfectly
cut,
every time, right?
Same with all my cabinets that I build. They're all CNC cut. All my interior panels are all CNC cut. Everything's all patterned out, so everything fits like a glove.
So I can see behind me here, it looks like we have the headliner that they're getting ready to, they're covering it.
Right, so this is where you can see the black coating on the honeycomb headliner material.
Yeah,
And
the
this,
honeycomb is awesome.
yeah, this, like I said, not wood. So they're pre-covering this material for the headliner. It's all pre-cut out of a CNC machine, so they're all identical for each model. And there's no discrepancies when it goes
Gonna
in.
fit perfect once again, right?
Fit and finish, yeah, exactly. This is where the fit and finish comes in, and all CNC controlled in all of our products.
So does the honeycomb provide like insulation as well?
It will provide some insulation factor in there because of the two different layers in the
Right.
honeycomb itself, and some sound deadening as well.
So the van is now out of the water test, and you can see that we've got,
Okay, so this is a cover that we're putting on over our batteries to protect these lithium-ion batteries in here. So this cover is protecting a very high dollar investment in batteries.
so again, that consistency. You did the protection from the time that you cut that first hole in the coach. Now you're protecting items as you build your coach.
Right,
protecting.
exactly. It's all about quality control, and if we can't control what's happening to the vehicle and any damage, we can avert as it's going down through the production line. It just saves time and money and quality of the vehicle. Also, if you notice, now the headliner is installed in here, and the insulation and the roof is all installed in here after water test.
All right, so what comes after this? What's next?
The next thing is going to be to start installing our cabinetry.
All right, let's go look at those.
Before installing cabinets, let's go over Grech's process for building the wooden cabinetry. First, raw sheets of 9-ply birch plywood are used. They are laminated with European high-pressure laminate. Next, CNC machines cut the various pieces and cutouts for each cabinet. The wood and the honeycomb material are both laser cut for exactness every time. Stainless material is cut using CNC laser for precision parts. A diagram of each model makes assembly of the pre-cut materials a breeze. Workers assemble the pre-cut pieces by hand, joining the wood with pocket screws. Overhead cabinets are pre-wired and tested for lighting. Curved pieces of wood are hand-cut and aligned for the cabinetry doors. Finally, cabinetry is secured via aluminum corner extrusion pieces, as well as more pocket screws to make a sturdy construction without delamination. Plumbing is installed, countertops polished, and they are ready for installation.
So it looks like the obvious next is the cabinets.
Right, so we have the pre-built cabinets that we build in-house here, and these cabinets will be installed into this vehicle in the station. And also I'd like to point out not only that the installation is up into the roof section where we actually do all the headliners, we actually remove the factory OE headliner out of the front of the vehicle and insulate that whole front area where that cab headliner would go into.
I'm sure that's to make a huge difference in your driving and just livability of the coach, keeping it cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter.
Right. We want to make sure that this is as much climate controlled as possible in the interior when you have it all closed up. That insulation makes a big factor.
Big difference. And I think that's the first that I've ever seen it in the front cab part of the coach.
Yeah, we try to do our best as far as insulating every square inch of this unit.
All right, so now we can see that cabinets have been installed. We've got the wall board. Well, you tell me, David.
Yeah, overhead cabinets are installed now. The main cabinets for around the bathroom and the refrigerator cabinet, galley cabinets installed. You will notice that the sidewall covers are installed in this vehicle as well. So the upper sidewall panel window coverings are made out of fiberglass and they are covered with the interior fabric.
Nice and strong. Like
very strong, very sturdy, and there's no moisture that's going to be soaking into these because they're not made out of wood, okay?
Right.
And also the lower panels here are 1/4 inch honeycomb, same like the floor material, but it's a 1/4 inch, so there's still no wood down here. It's 1/4 inch honeycomb material for the sidewall.
On the sidewall and on the headliner.
And
right?
on the headliner, exactly. So the headliner has the same material as the lower sidewalls do. It's that 1/4 inch honeycomb, very strong, moisture resistant, and for the long durability.
So again, the only wood is your cabinets, and wow.
The only wood is the cabinets, and I'm using a birch multi-layer plywood. So it is a very high quality plywood in all my cabinetry that I'm building.
The other thing that I love about your cabinets is you've got this edge, rounded edge on everything. That's an aluminum extruded,
right,
powder coated edge.
Exactly. So you're right. So all these cabinet corners are all aluminum extrusion, and they are powder coated. And they are very durable.
No laminate peeling or anything like
that. No laminate peeling, nothing like that.
So now we've prepped and painted and cured the trim pieces. And this is actual trim piece that the stainless steel will go on top of, right?
Exactly. So once these are cured and painted, they come out of the spray booth, they go back on the same vehicle they were removed from, and then after they're installed back on the vehicle, the stainless steel gets put on top of that.
And it looks beautiful.
Exactly.
So remember, this is how the chassis comes in from Mercedes. So we haven't painted this yet. Going to remove it, paint it, and then to hide the waviness that you get from where it's attached.
Right, so we receive the chassis with this body prep paintable molding on the side, and we remove it and paint it and reinstall it, and then install the stainless on there. And that's what covers up the imperfections that we receive from Mercedes on these chassis.
So this is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. You'll see the imperfections in the molding here. You can see it from the reflection of the yellow line, how the yellow line looks like it's wavy. And then as I go down and I get to the door that's covering the wet bay and all the components here, you can see that the line goes straight because this is a molded fiberglass door. Really nice and sturdy. And then that hides all your components here. One of my favorite features on Grech vans. So now you can see with the finished product how beautiful it looks. Seamless with the stainless steel, no more waves.
That is a full stainless cover from the bottom all the way to break right over the top edge, and it just makes it seamless down the side.
Seamless, but just like very luxurious.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me today for the Grech Factory Tour. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. I've just been thoroughly impressed with the quality, the fit and finish of these vans. So what's left? It's time for you to come and visit us at National Indoor RV Centers, where you can see a Grech van in person. We are ready and waiting to help you. So come and visit us today. Thanks so much for joining me and have a wonderful day.